Everyone, so a couple of things we need to cover today. We need to learn about a new note on our instrument. We need to learn about something called movable do. We need to learn how to play a new scale. Let's start with talking about what we already know. We already know how to play 5 notes. You can see here on our level 2 scale sheet, the 5 notes that you already know are right here in the middle of our concert B flat scale. Now, we'll talk more about what I mean when I say concert B flat later. It's about a concept called transposing. But what we need to know is when we play a concert B flat scale on our instrument, we play a C scale. The name of the scale just means where do is. So do is on C in a C scale. So we know how to play all 5 of these notes. You'll notice here, though, that there's no fingerings that are written in on your level 2 scale sheet. By now, we should have all the fingerings for the notes C, D, E, F, and G memorized in our head. If we have to go back and peek at our first notes page every once in a while because you forget a note, that's okay, but we don't want to have to write them in here because by now we should have them memorized. Today, there's just one new note that we need to learn, and that new note for us is called A. And you can see it up here at the top of the scale. You can see that it's higher than all the other notes. The highest note we knew before was G, that was in the second line of the staff, and A is in the space above it. Down here, I can see the diagram for the clarinets. The clarinets have to press only one button, and that's the A key, this teardrop-shaped key here. When we play that on our clarinet, we just sort of roll our finger sideways like this, so the corner of our finger touches it. We don't want to move our entire finger because that's, well, it's too much work, and we have to have this finger ready to cover this hole again if we had to play an F or excuse me, if we had to play an E right after it. So just the corner of our finger rolls up to hit the corner of that key, the pointy part of that key. For the trumpet players, that new note is called A as well, and it's these 2 fingers. It's the same fingers that we had to press to play E, but this time it'll be a higher note, which means faster air and a faster buzz. On the trumpet, that new note sounds like this. On the clarinet, that new note sounds like this. In both cases, it's higher than the highest note that we knew before. Now, we used to do our B flat scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now we need to add one note higher. So when we play our warm-up scale at the beginning of our lessons, we'll play this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And if I played that in the clarinet, it would sound like this. And when I play that in the trumpet, it sounds like this. The next thing we have to talk about is how do can move around. So far, do has always been under the note that's called C, but as it happens, we can put do anywhere we want. If I wanted to play a D scale, I would call D do. If I wanted to play an E scale, I would call E do. If I wanted to play an F scale, I would call F do, which is actually what we're going to do right now. So if you look down here at the concert E flat scale, this is because we transpose, we play an F scale. Now, the notes in our concert E flat scale are the exact same notes in our concert B flat scale, at least so far. There will be some notes that will be different later on when we learn more notes. But I can see that C, D, E, F, G, and A are all the same notes that I just played. The only difference between these 2 lines, besides this note, which we haven't talked about yet, we'll learn later, the only difference between those 2 lines is where is do. So now do is here underneath the F. And if do moves, all the other labels move too. Re is always the note that's higher than do, and mi is always the note that's higher than re. And then we've got notes lower than do now, and so we have to use the other notes in our scale. So T is lower than do, La is lower than T, and So is lower than La. So if I were going to play my concert F scale, I would use all the same fingers that I already know for the notes C, D, E, F, G, and A, but I'd be playing them in a different order. So our concert E flat scale, our F scale, starts on do and goes like this. Do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, la, ti, do. On the clarinet. And on the trumpet. So what we'll be doing now in class is we'll be playing two different scales as part of our warm-up every day. And we're going to learn that some of the songs that we play are based on our concert B flat scale, which for us is a C scale on the clarinet or the trumpet. And some songs we're going to play, in fact, we'll play some on this week's lesson, are based on our concert E flat scale or our F scale. They use the same letters, the same fingerings where to know. It's just where the do, re, mi labels go. All right, I'm sure there's going to be some questions about this. This is always a place where some students get confused because they've had a misconception about what the do, re, mi names meant. I hope that I was clear in this lesson, and I'm sure I can clear up the other questions when we have our live classes. That's it for now. Thanks for stopping by.